Takes a second to boot up. Are you gonna play, bitch? Oh, I paused it, lol.
My name is Jacob Shaw.
Hi, I'm Mel Cook.
Je suis Cléa.
My name is Icarus Jade.
I am Zebediah Fisher.
Et pareil pour moi, je suis Erwan.
And I am a part of Generation Z.
And I'm a part of Generation Z.
Hi, je fais partie de la Gen Z.
And I'm a member of Generation Z.
And I'm part of Generation Z.
Et je fais partie de la Gen Z.
So to me, nostalgia means having like a very strong fondness for things from the past. I think it comes from a place of love, mostly, and passion. And I think that relying too much on it can be a problem, but I overall think it's actually a really beautiful thing.
It does mean a whole host of things. The word bittersweet is a pretty easy one to come to mind. I think it's one of those things where a lot of people didn't realize the harm that it would bring, you know. It used to be this sort of romanticized thing that people would go through, this emotion.
To me, it means looking back on a memory and more so missing who you were or what was happening during those days than looking back at it with a fondness or like a greater deal of thinking of it as something you once were. You're more so thinking of it as something you wish you were now.
So for me, nostalgia, it's a feeling that can be good or bad, but I think it's like a memory in the past.
To me, the word nostalgia, it really just, it takes me back to my childhood. That's like first thing that I think of is just like 5 years old at our old house, like running around the basement with my brother. That's kind of what it reminds me of. That's what the word to me means.
I think it's pretty sad because you be the adult people, so you don't take the same energy, the same practice, and after you go to the school, so you learn, you have more responsibility, you go to be adult person, so it's different, but it's just cool because it's a life and you have just one life.
I think a lot of today's generation has lost a lot of sincerity when it comes to trends and fashion and technology. Is everything's so mass produced and designed for a greater group instead of personalized, and individualism has kind of been lost.
I feel like our generation kind of clings to like the past generations, just all of things, like the influence of their culture, just really because I feel like it's so original. And now I feel like so many things are just like repeats over and over and over.
Ours is worse in a lot of ways. And I do know that every generation is going to say that their thing was better. I do think that companies are making an active effort to make our things worse. For example, when you go on Spotify now, there are AI songs. Not a single human touched that. And that is objectively going to make a worse song. Why would I listen to that when I could put The Clash on? Like, why would I listen and why would I watch a movie that is made completely out of quips when I can watch a movie from the 90s or the 80s with so much love and care put into it?
You know, it might be kind of a silly answer, but something that I kind of feel nostalgic for that I never got to experience myself is the sort of idyllic life that is portrayed in 80s and 90s movies and whatnot. You know, something like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for example, you know. Very funny movie, comedy, you're not necessarily meant to take it seriously. But the entire time it's showing in your face like how carefree of a life Ferris lives and the people around him, like for the most part of his age and whatnot. Like, school is easy, life is easy, and you know, he suffers ramifications, but everything works out in the end. And I can't say for certain whether or not those times were real, because I wasn't there.
I miss the days of like jazz bars and things like that. They're much harder to come by, late night shows, people going out to experience one-of-a-kind type of music where every night it's going to be played differently. And yes, it's the same with other shows where it's like they're going to perform it differently every single time. But most of the ideas of jazz are every single performance is what you're feeling at that time and kind of what you want to portray or act as during that time.
I think that can be good for the nostalgia because I can make some group people with the same memories, so that can be cool, I think. But it's a little bit a kind not good too, so.
Yeah.
Every single punk show in the 80s, every single punk show in the 90s. Look, there are still seedy-ass punk shows. There are still, like, greasy, grimy, dirty. I go to dive bars. There's a show in August I really want to go to that is actually in a skate park.
So we're from France, south of France, in Avignon. So sorry for our accent because from
My
France.
English too. Specifically nostalgia in France, I know it's different in US and in France, but it's really the same because we have Pokemon for me, anime. I know the anime from Japan, but in US it's very famous too. We have
The VHS too.
yeah, when I young we have VHS. We have
We go
this.
play at ball
This,
outside.
yeah, we
and
can play ball. We can
we-
play in French we play soccer, but we can play soccer, basketball, handball, rugby. We have a lot of things. It's not many different, but it's not the same like the anime, like the movies, like the sports.
I think the internet has a huge influence in nostalgia in many, many different ways, because in some ways we can have it at like our fingertips at all times. Like I have a DS emulator on my iPad and like I'm able to play the games that I played when I was a kid at my fingertips. But I feel like the internet has also ruined a lot of things for us, because some things to me, like what makes nostalgia important is how it feels like my own. And then it's like, oh my gosh, do you guys remember when we went to Chuck E. Cheese before it broke down and there was like this whole game and da-da-da? I was like, no, I thought that was an original experience for me.
For me, it's bad, but it's not bad too because you can use internet for the good things. Generally, I think it's better to not use internet because if you want memories, you have brain, you have heart, you have anything. So it's not bad, but it's not the same.
Something that I do think we really need to bring back is physical media and media ownership. I want to be able to own my media. I want to be able to control what media I consume. I do not want a corporation or a monopoly to take my media away from me. There are so many shows that have been taken away and they never got a DVD release and they're just gone. PlayStation is discontinuing all discs, all physical media. And I think that is absolute horseshit, actually. I think it is horrible that a company can take your media away from you that easily. When you're paying for a subscription, you should get to keep the product that you're paying for.
When my generation looks back on the past, I think we're looking for some kind of escape. You know, we grew up with all these promises of the future because when we were born, technology was just hitting that ramp. You know, the internet was finally coming into being. We were seeing what was possible, and we continue to see what was possible, but in a much different way now than we used to. Back then, it was the idea of possibilities. It was the sky's the limit. It's your imagination will take you anywhere. And that's what we were told. That's what we were given. We were given those promises.
I think my generation's looking for comfort in the past. I think a lot of things are very scary and very loud right now. I think we want to cling on to the idea that the past was better, that the past was safer. Not in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways it is a lot scarier now. I think we just have different problems. I think we're looking for a feeling of safety, a feeling of familiarity, when everything is so confusing and scary right now.
I want to memories when I was a child because they are more simple and the world is changed now. So I prefer go back for that.
Yeah, I think for me the same, because you are innocent when you are young, so you don't have big responsibility, you don't need to use your brain to practice your life like you want, and it's pretty cool when you are young. I think it's better to be a child, but okay.
But we are okay now.
Yeah, it's okay.
I feel like looking back in the past is a way of like escaping from the reality of today. I know a lot of the times I especially look back to my childhood and like how grateful I am to have like such an amazing family that was very like involved in my life and wanted to be, and we all hung out with each other and loved each other and we were all with each other all the time, and now I don't have that, and now it's like I'm facing the hardships of being an adult by myself, and I don't like that. So I feel like I look back of like, oh, I remember when I would wake up and me and my brother would like sprint downstairs and like fight for the TV because I wanted to watch SpongeBob and he didn't. We always watched SpongeBob because I always got what I wanted, and it's like I just don't have that anymore.
Something I would want a viewer of this documentary years from now to understand about my generation, and again, take it that I can't speak for my entire generation, but if I as a member may try to speak for it, it's that we're trying. We're tired, we're sad, we're living in a world that wasn't made for us. We're confused, we don't know what we're doing, we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. We're trying to bring about this age that we were promised, and a lot of it feels like it was already taken from us before we even had the chance to grasp it. And as a result, we're kind of just flailing about trying to grab onto anything, and what we find purchase on is what we never stood to lose in the first place.
Mostly just that we're not all assholes. There's some real ones out there.
I think I would want them to understand that we're doing our best with what we're given, and that there are people who are fighting against things, that we wanted to fight against the data centers, bad politics, the horrible state of our environment. There are people out there who cared. I want people to know that we cared and that we had community.
Much like how they probably feel in generations before us, like we're not all the same, and we didn't all choose like to live a life full of like technologies and screens and internets in our face, and like not a lot of us enjoy it. Like I know, like especially for my job, like given that it's all cameras and like the latest editing software and all of that, it's like, oh, maybe it would be fun to like cut up a film by hand and stuff like that. And I just feel like years from now, it's probably gonna look like we all pushed for society to move one way, which is AI and ChatGPT and robots and whatever, like all of that, I can only imagine. And like not all of us wanted it, but we just kind of had to do it. But like make the best out of the situation too. And like a lot of us who didn't want it have adapted and grown to like it.
If you're in the future, be just you, and
yes, I think,
and it's gonna
yes.
be okay. Keep the memory in your brain and in your heart, and keep that very, very strong.